Hi everybody, welcome back to Nea E and Blue. We'll be continuing to read Track to Deathathon, my web novel, and this is that version, and this is chapter 2, Cornstalks. Okay, so Cornstalks, chapter 2, March 24th, 2044, Thursday. At 7 a.m. sharp, Rice awakes to prepare for the next school day on a Thursday. He can hear his mother downstairs in the kitchen stirring food in the skillet. Low noises of hunger emerge from deep in his belly like a bear in a cave. The selection of school clothes in a is a quick choice because Rice prefers to wear blue jeans and a graphic or simple colored t-shirts. In addition, he grabs a set of workout clothes for track practice in the afternoon. Without a second thought, Rice rushes down the stairs in a hurry. "Slow down, Rice," says his ma. "Okay," says Rice. He drops his track clothes inside his black and white duffel bag alongside his training shoes. Ma pops her head in the laundry room. "Hurry up and eat breakfast," says Ma. "Coming, Ma," says Rice. Rice carries the duffel bag to the dinner table and sets it on the floor next to his school backpack. Mother must have set it here earlier in the morning. A full plate of scrambled eggs and sausages is devoured in under 5 minutes. Before heading out the door, Rice checks his school bag. Everything is in place: books, homework, and a school laptop. 7:25 a.m. The digital clock blinks in the living room. "See you after practice, Ma," shouts Rice. "Be good," says Ma. Down the driveway to the country road, Rice walks by his pa, who is working on his truck in front of the house. "Morning, Pa," says Rice. "How's it going, Rice?" asks his pa, looking up from the hood of the red truck. Rice nods and waves to his father, walking to the bus stop. He stands with the other high schoolers from around his neighborhood. The bus comes to a halt 2 minutes later. Rice climbs onto the yellow school bus behind his two neighbors. The bus doors close behind him with a creak. As Rice gets to the top step, he finds his preferred seat in the second to last seat on the driver's side. Usually nobody else sits with him, allowing him to get the window seat. Inside the bus, there is enough space for two or one student per seat. The dark leather seats are spacious with only one person in it. Rice sets his backpack and duffel bag beside him on the seat. There is noise from the other students conversing and the local radio station through the bus's speakers. The segment of the morning national news about the past Deathathon race. Today we'll be talking to one competitor from the Deathathon. How was the running experience? It helped my running form. Goosebumps form on Rice's arm. Of course, the competitors were only going to say positive attributes about the race on national news. The whole school seemed to want to give assignments on the deathathon. Some of the more rebellious teachers questioned the idea of having the event, but not outright, more in a passive way of teaching about it. Anyone questioning the validity of the event would be in trouble with the government. The bus ride is direct from Rice's stop to Bakersfield High School. The bus pulls up the smooth road to the white brick building. After coming to a complete stop, the students inside the bus file out onto the campus. There are 10 minutes before the start of the first period at 8 a.m. Rice blinks fast as the sun shines brightly off the high school building like a mirage, making Rice think of the dryness in his throat. Once inside the school, he fills his water bottle and takes a fresh sip of water. A coolness passes through his throat. Rice has only a couple minutes to prepare for the first period. First he heads to the lockers of his class near the math classrooms to leave his duffel bag. Not too many people make use of the black lockers, so it's easy to reach. 23-8-17. He swivels the lock until it pops open, depositing the bag inside his. He closes it. The warning bell rings. Only 5 minutes left till class starts. He walks to the second floor hallway above the hall for the first period. Finding his seat behind a computer screen facing the projector, the graphic design class begins. Rice enjoys the creativity of designing digitally. Rice thinks of working in graphic design after high school, at least it interests him at the moment. Miss Lenny briefs them on the elements of design to incorporate and lets them work on the project for the end of the semester. The project is to prepare a web page, pamphlet, and ads for the cause of your choice. Rice chose to set up a project for the fundraising of items for homeless people. It is all made up, but this is a cost that Rice believes is a good one to work on. He also has to write up a 2-page essay about his design element and its cost. The grade depends on the design and the presentation to the whole class. Even though Rice competes in front of spectators, he's not the most confident in presentations. Rice would rather run a race than face a class of students. The heat on his cheeks is a different type. Rice opens his document folder to his pamphlet. From a notebook, he copies down the text he decides to write. Deciding the elements of the brochure is the most interesting part of the segments. From choosing the colors, fonts, to images, the bell rings signifying the end of class. Rice leaves his work online and heads to the next class. By midday, it's time for lunch. It's a time when Rice gets to see Kevin, his friend. They find each other at the end of the lunch line. "Hey man, ready for history class next period?" says Kevin. "Oh yeah, today is the lecture day, right?" says Rice. They grab their meals and sit down with the other boys from their grades. Lunch goes by quickly. Above Rice, the bell rings to end the lunch period. Break. Kevin and Rice enter history class in a hurry. When lunch before the class, with lunch before the class, they are always rushing to enter on time. Finding their assigned seats, they separate from one another. Kevin gives Rice an eyes roll as their teacher, Mr. Benz, comes in the room. Kevin finds Mr. Ben's way of teaching to be boring. Rice throws an almost unseen shrug back at Kevin. Class begins as they are asked to copy down notes in addition to lecture notes. Mr. Ben's voice is dull as some students have a hard time staying awake, and it doesn't help that they just had lunch. Warm sunlight lands on Rice's arm from the history class window. For a moment he thinks of being outside later today for track and field practice, out in the warmth of the sun, to felt the rush of the wind with his hair and his feet hit the ground. Mr. Prongs, would you collect the assignment from yesterday?" asked Mr. Benz. Some of his classmates look at Rice, who looks away from the window. "Oh, yes," says Prongs, springing to his feet. At the front of the classroom, he stands at the end of the row to collect the papers from yesterday. Once everything is collected, the classroom takes lecture notes. For the last 15 minutes, they work on group projects. Luckily, thanks Rice, the classroom is allowed to pick their group of 3. In his group, Ben, Kevin, and himself, people move the desk into groups. The scraping of metal of the tiles causes Rice's arm on his neck to stand. For a second, Rice, a shiver passes like a rush of cold water. Rice agrees they should meet at Ben's house to finish the rest of the project since it's due Monday morning. Friday will be a test. The bell rings and the students hurry to put the desks back into place. Ben, Kevin, and Rice walk together until they part for their class. "See ya at practice," says Kevin. "See ya," says Rice. Rice heads to science class. The final class is math class. Most of the other students have already arrived and are answering the question of the day. They're asking one another to compare the answers. Taking out his notebook and mechanical pencil, Rice works out the problem, finishing after the bell rings. The classroom compares the answer on the board. From there, they turn in their homework. Soon, the math teacher goes over today's lesson and takes over most of the class time. There are 5 minutes left to save the homework assignment if needed. His locker is in the same hallway as in the math department. Rice has Mr. Lever. He can grab his track and field bag after he saved his assignment every day. Mr. Lever agreed with him at the start of the season. Out in the hallway, the sound of the other math classes floating from the doorway around him. Rice locates a black locker with the number 287 on a silver plaque. By sliding his locker key, card, and password, Rice opens. Inside is minimal decoration. There's a magnet mirror, which his mother insisted on buying for him. Grabbing the bag, he places it on his shoulder. His reflection blurs as he closes the locker. A thin nose and wide brown eyes. In math class, his classmates are already lined up for the end of the day. There are only 2 more minutes for the bell. Rice grabs his backpack and waits by his desk. "Hi, Rice. Do you have notes for the history class?" asks a classmate. "Yeah, for the lecture, right?" says Rice. They exchange emails to send notes. The bell rings. As he walks out the classroom, opens the yellow notes application on his phone. He jots down a memo to send the lecture notes when he arrives home later that evening. The rush of students in the hallways is like an ocean. The students, like fish, rush into various streams and rows, going into various locations one after another. Rise exits to the gymnasium doors when he meets with his ride to the stadium. The car's full of boys going to practice. The short ride inside they blast the music all the way there. The beat of the music echoes and they chatter. Kevin sits next to Rice in the back seat of the older senior boy who drives into practice. Finding the parking space in the lot, the boys gather their items and head to the locker room of the stadium. The boys are joking around, changing in their workout attire. Then Rice puts on his dark blue shorts and breathable long sleeve shirt. The fabric of the shirt is light, and as today is a long run, he won't get too hot. Plus, he has a change of shirt just in case the workout changes. Meeting for their daily updates, the team gathers together around Coach Light. There are announcements to be made and general conversation. Rice pays attention. He prepares his mind to focus on his run for only this time of the day. To put the worries behind him, run and run only. The team is dismissed to the track for warm-ups. Under the sunlight and wind, Rice feels a sense of freedom. Finally being able to stretch his legs into a jog, he goes beside Kevin and warms up. Finally, they all stretch as a team. The team splits off into different subcategories. Kevin and Rice report to their long-distance members to Coach Duke. Today's workout is a 50-meter long run. Run anywhere near the school premise. You know the rules, says Coach Duke. Smaller groups break off from the long distance team. "Let me grab my watch. Catch you by the tall tree," says Kevin. Rice waits for Kevin at the old pine tree near the parking lot entrance. Rice shuffles through his music playlist on his phone. Kevin comes a minute later. "Let's head back to the road by the cornfield," says Kevin. "Sounds good," says Rice. They chat occasionally while they run. By the edge of the school ground runs a road privately owned for corn. Rice imagines corn stalks growing into the sky as he runs past. Rice feels the warmth of the sun in his back as the wind presses against him. The ground where the corn grows is limp, lumps of dirt at the moment. The flat dirt is brown lot besides the road which stretches into the wooded areas. They reach the road in 10 minutes and run the length of the road, looping around the back of the high school and then toward the nearby schools. The time is almost up. They reach the track on time. They stop in with Coach Duke. He gives them cool-down exercises to complete before leaving. The grass pricks Rise as he does some final stretching on the ground on the infield. The ground feels solid to the touch. See you tomorrow, says Kevin, getting up beside him. See you, says Rice. Rice stands on the ground until his phone lights up. It's his mother who is here to pick him up. He grabs his bags from his locker room in short time, and in a short time is out into the pickup truck. Ready, says Ma. Yeah, says Rice. They pull up to the house in the regular time, as traffic was not too bad for a Thursday. Rice places his belongings in his room. He opens his laptop and sends the history lecture notes to his classmate. He is preoccupied with sending the notes. His stomach reminds him of hunger. Closing his laptop, Rice rushes downstairs to check the kitchen. His pot of spaghetti is in the stove. Rice serves himself a plate and eats. His parents must have eaten, as there are spaghetti-covered dishes in the sink. Rice finishes his meal and gathers his plate. He rinses the plate. He puts the already clean dishes away in the cupboards. The television in the living room turns on. Rice enters the living room to see his father in the rocking chair. Dad, did you come from the farm? Says Rice. Yeah, the animals were very cheerful today, said his pa. Rice looks over to the program television, a documentary on wildlife in Africa. The animals roam in the wilderness on the screen. The fight for the fittest in the animal kingdom moves to the screen as Rice turns around. Heading to the back of the house, Rice grabs fresh clothes from the laundry room. Cool water falls on him as he showers dirt and sweat off the day. The water droplets roll on his body in a smooth trickle. After his shower, Rice works on his homework assignment for school. He puts on entertainment videos in the background to listen in the background. A knock on the door by 8:30 p.m. as he is solving a math problem. Thought you might need some water, said his mother, holding a water bottle. Yes, thanks. I guess I am now, said Rice. Okay, hon, sleep well, said his mother. The water bottle is his blue water bottle. He drinks 2 gulps and returns to finish his schoolwork. After schoolwork, he brushes his teeth. Crossing the bedroom, Rice opens the door to let the night breeze. Underneath the covers, Rice imagines the cornrows by the school growing soon. They soon turn into tall stalks as they were from Jack and the Beanstalk. He imagines climbing up the green prickly leaves as he drifts to sleep. Okay, that is the end of chapter 2 on Track to Deathathon. And I'm not the best at reading even my own work, especially when I noticed mistakes that I made when writing it. I want to change the words and go faster, as faster faster as my mind reads it, then I can speak it, if that makes sense. So yeah, thank you for listening, and um I will definitely do up to the free chapters available, and let me know if you want me to do more than that. I believe, let me check how many free chapters there are. There is let me see, table of contents. I have written right now 24 chapters, and up to chapter 17 is free, but you can still read it if you make an account and log in. They'll give you credits, and you can use that credit to read the next chapter. You just have to wait for the next day or so to read the next chapter. So yeah, I'll read up to there, and then if you comment, I'll read from my saved document. Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, thank you for tuning in, and like, share, and comment. And I might also read a short story, but those are still like the ones that I really like that I wrote are um entered in like a contest, and so but I could, they're entered into a contest, so I'm still waiting on results, but not that I'm probably gonna win, probably not, but um maybe after the results I can share a reading of the story. Yeah. So thank you, have a good night or day, and see you next time. Bye bye.